what's happening by leaving us a little comment in the chat window on the bottom right hand corner of your screen, just so I know everything's working and okay. Loud and clear is a very good answer, Steve. I'm very pleased that that's the case. Loud and clear. Hopefully you can manage 2 hours of loud and clear. That sounds like something that is on the cards, hopefully. I'd just like to start by asking a couple of really quick questions that will help me to understand exactly where we're coming from before we begin the session proper. And that is, firstly, the schools that are represented here, do you have pupil digital leaders already in whatever capacity that is? Simple yes or no will do. And also, can you tell me what kind of school you're from? Primary, secondary, special school, etc. That kind of thing. That'd be really helpful, just so I understand where we're all coming from. Okay, thank you for that. So it's really interesting then that we've got such an amazing range in a relatively small group of responses already. So we've got state grammar schools, secondary schools, primary schools, and a combination of yes and no answers to having digital leaders. So hopefully throughout the course of the session, as well as I hope being able to give you some additional information about things that I've worked on with schools and things that I could present to you as good ideas, hopefully. Between the other people in the room, I really hope that there are other ideas that you can share between yourselves. If at any point during the session there's something that I say that doesn't make any sense, please stop me. Send me a message in the chat and ask me questions. But also, there'll be hopefully opportunities for us to share ideas between all of us, and certainly I shouldn't be the only person contributing really positively to this session. I'm pretty sure that between us, we'll be able to have a pretty good conversation. So that all sounds very good. So let's get cracking, I guess. So thanks very much for coming and for giving up your time after school, which I imagine is the case for the majority of you. And let's begin. So what we're talking about today then is maximizing the impact of pupil digital leaders in schools. And this is really aimed at a variety of schools, so everyone who's represented here today hopefully will find something useful from the session. But the really crucial word in the sentence, in the title, is the word impact, of course. So some of you have got digital leaders already, some of you haven't, but it's all about how we can make the impact as good as it possibly can be over the course of your particular project. Probably important to start with a little bit of information about me, because I suspect that the majority of people in the room won't necessarily know too much about me and my background. Well, my name's Chris Mayo, which is something that you may or may not have been aware of before. And at the moment, I work as an independent consultant, working with primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, and other organisations to do a variety of things. But mainly everything that I do is involved with raising the game in terms of the use of technology in schools. Whatever that actually means for the individual setting is very, very different. So, for example, I do an awful lot of work around supporting schools to embed e-safety and really safe and responsible practices around e-safety across the curriculum, and with a variety of stakeholders. I do an awful lot of work with teachers about the use of the new computing curriculum, of course, which is a really big area for lots of schools. I do an awful lot of work with schools about embedding technology as a cross-curricular tool for learning across the curriculum, and they're kind of the big things that I work with schools on too. I also, in addition to that, work with a lot of organisations. There's an organisation called NFC Ring, for example, who I've done some work with recently. I've done some work with companies such as Too Simple and Rising Stars, and basically all of the time that I've worked with these organisations, my aim is to understand how I can best support schools to be better at using technology. So that's kind of where I'm coming from at the moment. In addition to those things, I also work part-time as a computing leader at a Bradford primary school. The school is Fagley Primary School. So I hope that all of the conversations that we have and the things that I talk about and the things that I talk to you about are not necessarily coming from this kind of consultancy perspective where there is somebody sat on a perch somewhere, a perceived perch where they haven't been in a classroom for the last 25 years and they're talking to you about things that are entirely abstract to them. Every single thing that I talk about is something that I've tried in schools, I've done in schools, whether as a consultant or as a day-to-day teacher in a school. And I really hope that adds a little bit of credibility to what I'm saying. And although we've got a mix of age groups here, I've worked in an awful lot of schools that have children of all sorts of ages, as hopefully this will explain. So before starting my current roles as an independent consultant and as a computing leader in Bradford, last year I spent a year as head of ICT at the International School of Moscow, which was a really great opportunity for me, of course. But what was really fascinating about it in terms of this particular project that we're going to talk about today was that it was an all-through school for students from foundation stage to key stage 4. And what that allowed, of course, was great continuity and flexibility with the digital leadership projects that we ran within the school. So the progression from key stages was really, really straightforward for us to track and to monitor. So hopefully that experience will become useful to the people in the room today. Prior to that, I worked as a local authority consultant in Bradford, and pleasingly for those of you who are here today, the main task that I had during that time was to embed pupil digital leadership schemes in a variety of schools. Primary schools, secondary schools, special schools, and over the course of 2 years, we managed to set up about 60, 65, something like that, pupil digital leader schemes in schools in Bradford, and they were absolutely wildly successful.